This is the Speak Easy podcast where we go behind the scenes talking about what it means to be a speaker or an author. I am your host, Altavis Pelzer, the voice coach. Got my NASA shirt on today, y'all. Checking it out. Yes, coming to you with a great topic for today. I was doing my research. You guys know that I often go and research, especially my particular topics and my genres that I talk about. And I saw this article come up from the Asian Age. So shout out to the Asian Age. I'll put a link in their description to the actual article for you guys to get more information about it, to feed up on it yourself. It was not a long read at all, but it was talking about, this young man being the youngest fitness influencer and speaker in the country, and he's only 19. And it was interesting for a couple of reasons. For one, they never said which country. That part. But we're going to charge it to they head, not their heart. So they never said which country. But also, it made me go and think about, wow, what are the ingredients to raising a speaker? Because in all actuality, a lot of our youth are speakers now. And they're speakers starting in elementary school all the way up to high school and college. A lot of our youth and young adults are speakers. But we know that in the school system, that's not really an area where they are pushed towards. That's not really an area where they are influenced to go after. That's still one of those like taboo kind of arenas to go into when it comes to being a professional or in order for you to get paid. That's not really the area that you go in. I beg to differ because, like different people get paid different amounts and that part. But I'll get off that soapbox real quick. But what really goes into raising a child that is a speaker? What goes into it? Not only that, what are the sacrifices? Let's just be real. Let's be honest right now. Because as a parent, we already go through a lot of sacrifices when it comes to our children, when it comes to just them going to school. Let's be honest, it can be a sacrifice depending on, what they have to do, time restraints, sports, everything, concerts, musicals. I'm not, saying anything specific, but you do have a lot of areas that you have to pull back on. But when I'm thinking of a child wanting to be a motivational speaker, that this is the area that you see them excelling in, how do you really push them in that direction? How do you really not even push them? How do you cultivate that with, on the inside of them, especially when they go to a school and a school teacher may tell them that's not a job. I don't know if any of you have read the book Jump by Steve Harvey. Shout out to Steve Harvey. But he talked about that. He talked about how he actually got in trouble for saying that he wanted to be on television when he was a child. His teacher, was ridiculed to him and said that it wasn't a profession and that's not a real profession that he wanted, that he should go after. And, when he got home, he was really upset about this. So, his father said, well, what does she want you to put on the paper? And he said, well, she wants me to put like a doctor or trash man or astronaut or something. And he said, okay, when you go to that school, you put down on the paper whatever it is that she wants you to put on that paper. But that paper that has your real dream on it, you hold tight to that and you work effortlessly to get there. You work as hard as you possibly can. And I know as parents, we're kind of conflicted. And I even put this into one of the mom chats that I'm a part of over on Facebook, that we're conflicted because we want to make sure that they're investing in something that's going to help them to be able to sustain a life. We don't want them to leave home and be broke. Let's be honest. As a parent, there is never ever a parent that says, oh, I want my children to move back home and come and raid my refrigerators and live on my couch or live in their room until there's no parent ever that wants to do that. Okay, let me make this distinction. There's no real parent ever that wants a child to be stunted in their growth in that way. But we also want to make sure that we're pushing them to do something that they're going to be passionate about, because we never want to be in a place where we're looking at our child and our child is 40, 50 years old and they're depressed and they're stressed and they're not in a place of enjoying life. Like no parent wants to see their child not enjoy life either. So we're conflicted because we have these two varying things that are, and if you're a single parent, it makes it even worse because you don't really have anybody to play off of. And when you're in a relationship, and some of you that are couples that listen to the podcast, you guys know when you're in a relationship, you know that you can kind of play off of each other. One is more geared towards, okay, let's do the creative thing. One is geared towards, okay, let's do the lawyer, let's do this, and y'all can kind of play off of it. But as a single parent, you don't really have anybody to play off of it. You kind of just have to figure it out along the way. So when thinking about raising a speaker, what is it that you want to, instill in them? What is it that you want to see them to be able to accomplish? I want to see them to be able to be on stages like E.T. and Les Brown, Lisa Nichols. I want to see them be able to do those types of things. But there's some steps that are involved in that. So one of the things that I loved, and again, this original, I'll put it in the description where the original article was, is on the Asian age. And so one of the things that I loved was that he said that his parents instilled in him everything he needed for him to be able to be at the position he's at 19. Now remember, who remembers 19? Who remembers that year? Who remembers 18 and what you were doing in that year? Who remembers those things? Because we can often remember that in those times, we weren't focused on anything. Let's be honest. Some of us were just starting to work, going to college, freshman 15, because we could eat whatever we want, no responsibilities, nobody really over us, and we could listen. So the fact that at 19, he's really focused on this particular path is really great. But again, he said that his parents were the determining factor. So again, you play the role of being the water. Like they have the seed, and you may not have even been the one that planted the seed within them, but you're the one that waters the seed. You're the one that tills the ground. You're the one that's, cultivating this seed that has been planted, and you want to see it grow. There's nobody that doesn't want to see it grow. You want to see the return on that investment of planting and nourishing that part. So first and foremost, he said that his parents played a huge role. Secondly, he said, he was thankful for God because God also played a huge role in him being able to be in the position he is in. And he listens very heavily to what God tells him, in order for him to be able to speak in front of crowds of 100 and hundreds of people. That's epic at 19. Okay. But from the parent standpoint, I'm going to go over 3, maybe even 5. I might slide another 2 in there. Things that you can really focus on. Number 1 is giving them space to grow. One of the things that dwarfs our children's growth when it comes to their creativity, when it comes to an idea that they have, is that we don't give them space to create. We don't give them space to grow. We want to tell them exactly what to do and how to do it and when to do it and when to stop doing it. And that's not how this works. we have to understand that, again, in nurturing and cultivating the seed that was placed on the inside of them, you can't tell the seed when to come out and when to grow. You can't, like, you can help it along the way. It's the same way if you see a sapling, when somebody just plants a sapling, you see them put the stick in there because they want that sapling to grow up. That is what you can do. You can put the sticks and the stakes in the ground. Y'all better catch it. You can put the sticks and the stakes in the ground to help them to sprout up and to grow, but you cannot force them to grow faster. You cannot force them to take a different direction. You cannot force them to be bigger or smaller. You can't do any of those things. So giving them just the space to grow, as you know, as they have learned different things, giving them space to grow also means being open to conversation and dialogue. Can I tell y'all something? This is where one of those spaces where parents, we gets it wrong. Hey, we do. It's one of those spaces where we get it wrong more times than we get it right. When giving them the space to grow, we have to be able to receive whatever it is that they're trying to tell us and share with us, because we never know what industry they're supposed to be speaking in. Again, this is for if you're raising a speaker, but it goes to many different genres, if anything that they want to do. Giving them space to grow means I have to be open to dialogue and conversation. And I know that a lot of us as older adults, well, I'm not that old, sorry. Let me rephrase that. As adults, we were taught to be seen and not heard. We were taught that our opinions did not matter. We were taught that we were not supposed to talk to adults unless spoken to. We were told that we were not allowed to have an opinion. And so those same things are some of the reasons why a lot of us as adults have gone through some of the HE double hockey sticks that we've gone through, because we had to literally go through a process of reclaiming that power of our voice. So when your child is coming to you wanting to talk about a certain topic, that means that you need to be there to listen, and not listen just to respond, but listen to hear them, hear their perspective, understand what it is that they're trying to say, allow them to ask questions. Can I tell y'all, as a parent, one of the things that used to like rattle my head was when they would ask 95 and a half questions in about 2 minutes, and you're sitting there and like steam is like flowing from your mind because they're doing it at the most inappropriate time. They're loud, and they may ask you a question that makes somebody in your immediate listening area uncomfortable, but they're trying to learn. And so giving them that space means I have to be able to allow them to ask those questions. I have to be able to answer those questions, even when they're uncomfortable for me. And y'all know what the uncomfortable conversations are when it comes to being a parent. This, again, this goes the same for if they want to be a speaker or if they want to be an author. It goes to the same thing. I know that there are speakers and authors who are youth, who are younger than 19. That's why I said I didn't know what country he was in to be able to say. But I know that there are speakers, there are parents that have children that are speakers and that are authors who are 9 and 10 and 12 and 15. So the opportunities are there, and a lot of them do really, really well. It's just all about the conversation that's being had. That's number one. Number two is education. And so I cannot stress this enough. If the only education they are receiving is the education that they're receiving in school, then they're not receiving all of the education that they need. That's just honest truth. And it goes back to, are you having your children read? Are they connecting to people? Are you having them go to events so they can meet people and ask questions and learn about different things? Are you guys know, if you've been following the broadcast any length of time, you know that one of the things that I love to do is every week I watch a documentary. That's something that sometimes I do it on my own, other times I'll do it with my children, and we'll have a dialogue about it. We'll have a discussion. Things that come up in the media, we'll sit down and talk about it. I'll ask them questions about it because I want to know their opinion, because guess what? That's giving them space, but also it's educating them. It's taking them outside of what they just saw in the book and putting real life to it. Because, see, it's great to learn from the books. It's great to be educated in school, but real life application is completely different. Real life experience is going to be completely different. And so what it says in a book is great, but you have to be able to apply it. Application. You have to be able to apply it in order for it to make a difference, in order for it to make sense sometimes. Exactly. So are you giving them the education that they need? That could be, again, reading books, looking at documentaries, going and even going to certain shows. If there's someone and they're saying they don't want to be a speaker, they want to be a talk show host. Okay, we'll find a talk show where you can bring them so they can sit and see how it's done. A lot of times they get to see the behind the scenes things, and they get to see, what goes on. That may spark something. They may get there and say, I don't want to deal with all these people. They may get there and say, I absolutely love this. I'm going to go all in. So as a parent, and I'm saying this because I think in today's society, there are so many reasons why, but we literally rely heavily on schools to educate our children. We do. We rely very heavily on schools to educate our children. And the thing about it is that they can educate them to a certain degree, but it's not just their responsibility to educate them. It's not just their responsibility to educate them. That falls on you as the parent. But I can tell you why it has become such an issue when it comes to educating our children. It's become interesting because we're working 2 and 3 jobs at a time, so we're hardly ever home. Our children are spending more time in before and after care because we're working jobs that require us to travel. So we're on the road an hour, 2 hours to and from work, or we're commuting on public transportation. So we're not in control of our own time. When we get home, we're tired, frustrated. A lot of times, another reason is because us as parents, we're not even working in an industry that we're comfortable in working in. We're not working in something that we're passionate about, and so we're frustrated. So we can't even sew into what it is that they're doing because we already have that frustration going on. We already had that pain and that irritation going on. So they ask us a question, we immediately blow up because we have the weight of the world on our shoulders from everything that we've gone through in that day. Another reason why we have allowed the system to be the educators for our children is because, can I be honest? Can I just be honest real quick? We don't know things. And we're fearful to have a conversation with our children and they ask us something and we not have an answer. And that fear holds us back, and that fear shackles them. Simply because we will not have, we won't take the time to find the answer if we don't know it. So we're scared to even engage in the conversation because we don't think that we're capable enough to have the conversation. We don't think that we're smart enough. But the reality is that you are wiser beyond what you think. You have education, you have wisdom, life experiences, you have understanding. And even if you don't know it, that's your opportunity to learn it with them. And it goes right into number 3. So number 1 was you got to give them space to grow. They need that space. Number 2 is that education, is they need that education, not just from school. And most definitely, you don't want them getting educated by social media. Can we just be honest? Because we know that is one of the areas where they are being educated. But that leads us to number 3, is we have to help them to create a firm foundation and a value system. One of the things I always used to laugh about was I was never that really provocative clothing wearing type of teenage female girl. That it wasn't me. So I may have had a few outfits here and there, but I wasn't that one that, I needed to have cleavage out, probably because I didn't have any. I didn't need to have on booty shorts, probably because I had too much and they didn't fit. But in reality, that was something that I always, for me personally, I never saw a desire to do that. But when I had girls, OMG, the majority of their shorts are almost up the crack of their behinds, and well, not my girls, but the skirts are shorter and shorter. And I'm not saying that they have to wear skirts all the way down to their ankles. Nobody wants to wear that. This is not church girl swag where you got the jean skirt with the sneakers on. This is not that lifestyle, guys. But I did have to teach them some values. And one of the values was how you feel about yourself. And so, no, they don't go and wear short shorts outside. Matter of fact, the funniest thing in the world, and my daughter's probably, if she ever hears this, she's going to fight me. My oldest daughter, when she started doing field hockey last year, they had to do workouts. And your workouts, you got workout clothes. Well, workout clothes, workout shorts don't go to your knees. Like, it ain't like biker shorts back in my, I was about to say back in my day. I just dated myself. Good Lord, help me. They don't have biker shorts like we did back in the day. The workout shorts are pretty short. And I was okay with it. Like, I wasn't offended by it. It's a workout outfit. But she came to me respectfully and asked me if it was okay for her to wear them. That is creating a foundation and a value system within your children. And it blew my mind because it made me feel good. Like, wow, even as a teenager, I still get, that respect from her to ask me if that was okay. But even her herself saying, okay, is this an okay outfit? Because of course, they got the sports bra and the shorts. Most times she has a shirt on over top, depending on, what kind of workout they're doing. And because they're at a school, so there's other people around. So of course they have to have a shirt on. But that was a conversation we had. What's the foundation and value system that you're helping your children to create for themselves? Not just the one that you're trying to instill in them. What is the one that you're helping them to create for themselves? Because as a speaker, as an author, as an entrepreneur, as a baker, as a chef, it doesn't matter what job, as an anchor, a news anchor, whatever job they want to do, a professor, a teacher, there are some things that they're going to need in order for them to be able to do it successfully. As a speaker, there are some things they're going to need value-wise, so that way they're not talking about every other topic, or they're not talking about things that are not really connected to them value-wise, mission-wise, because guess what? In this industry, you will have people that will misdirect you in order for you to talk about what they want you to talk about. Now, I ain't telling y'all something that I heard. I'm telling you something that I know. People will put you on a platform. Y'all, yeah, I'm teaching good at this point. Somebody will put you on a platform and will have you speak on a topic that they want you to discuss, not necessarily a topic that's a part of your value system and your mission. And you have to be very careful of that. And especially in today's age where we have coaches that are pushing their own personal agenda, not necessarily helping you to find your own agenda. And so you have to have that understanding. So if you're sending them out into the world without that value system and without that foundation, all heck can break loose. And as a speaker, you need to have a clear and solid foundation. You cannot be all over the place, because what ends up happening is you end up creating a horrible persona for yourself in the speaking industry, and event coordinators talk. Event hosts talk. When people are putting things together and your name comes up, they will talk about the foundation and the values that you bring to the platform when you come and show up. So you need to have those in place for them and discuss them. Again, this is their opportunity to create on their own. So find out what value systems they have. Find out what foundation they have. What are they standing on? What kind of speaker do they want to be? Do they want to be a content speaker? Do they want to be a motivational speaker? Do they want to speak at school? What kind of speaker do they want to be? That will speak volumes, because again, if your child is saying they want to be somebody that speaks to high school students, but then they're seen in a video where they're drunk and passed out on the floor, you got to have this understanding. The value system matters. There's one thing for that to be the life that you used to live, and you've had this transformation and you want to share with them that transformation. There's a whole other thing that you're trying to get them to transform from something you haven't even transformed from. That's an ouch, I know. Just a little bit, just a smidge. So if your child is saying that they want to be a speaker, they want to be an actor, they want to be a writer, they want to be anything, there are some things, these things will help in those areas. But, I really found it amazing, like I said, that this young man has been named, this fitness influencer and speaker for his country. And it's like, wow, at 19, yeah, I remember 19. There was a lot going on at 19. I remember 19. But we know that our children can do so much more if they have the right things, pushing them, driving them, supporting them. They have the right things, the right ingredients. They have the sunlight. They have water, space to grow. They can grow. But there's going to be some work on your end. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys. Don't forget, if you have not done so already, if you are a speaker or an author, I would love to have you as a guest here on the show. bit.ly/speakeasy podcast is how you can join. That's bit.ly/speakeasy podcast, all lowercase. Come on, join, and pick out a time for you to be able to be on the platform. We would love to hear your story of becoming the successful speaker or author, or some not so successful moments that you may have had as well. With that being said, I appreciate you guys. Thank you to everybody who has shared out this episode. Make sure you come back, give us a review, bit.ly/speakeasy podcast show, all lowercase. Let us know how you felt about this episode or any of our episodes. And until next time, guys, don't forget to press it out. See ya.